All right, guys, happy Tuesday for Science Today. We're going to get into talking a little bit about conservation. Some of our vocabulary are going to be biodiversity, conservation, extinction, marine mammal, mass extinction, preservation, and sustainable. So we're going to talk about all those things. We're going to read together, and yeah, that's pretty simple. We were pretty complex for math today, so we're just going to read a little bit and take it easy for science today. But yeah, let's do this together. I'm so happy you're here. All right, guys, so first we're going to talk a little bit about our vocabulary that we're going to be talking about today. So first we have biodiversity. That's all the different kinds of living organisms within a given area. Our next word is conservation. That is the management of a natural resource to prevent exploitation or taking advantage of it, destruction or neglect of that resource. Extinction is the process of complete disappearance of a species from Earth. A marine mammal is an animal that lives most of its life in the ocean, but it still breathes air and it actually gives birth to live young. So that's going to be animals like whales, seals, dolphins. Mass extinction, that's actually an extinction event and where a large number of species go extinct in a short period of time. So it happens quickly and a lot of the animals will be gone. Preservation means protection from use. And sustainable, our last vocabulary word we're going to look at, means able to be continued at the same rate for a long period of time. So something that you can continue to do over a long period of time. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to our reading portion. All right, guys, so now we're going to talk about conserving land and life. So if you guys see this picture down here, if you guys can tell, it's almost like little two kangaroo-looking animals. Anyway, so let's go ahead and read. Establishing protected areas not only helps conserve the natural landscape and geography, but also the wildlife that lives there, like these western gray kangaroos. Oh, we were right, they are kangaroos. And this picture is in Flinders Chase National Park in Australia. Earth's natural resources include air, minerals, plants, soil, water, and wildlife. Conservation is the care and protection of these resources so that they can persist for the future generations. It includes maintaining diversity of species, genes, ecosystems, as well as functions of the environment, such as nutrient cycling. So conservation is similar to preservation, but while both of them relate to the protection of nature, they strive to accomplish this task in different ways. Conservation seeks the sustainable use of nature by humans for activities like hunting, logging, or mining, while preservation means to actually protecting nature from human use. This difference is illustrated by how the United States manages its public lands. The goal of national parks, for instance, is preservation, with an emphasis on causing minimal change to the landscape or environment. Meanwhile, national forests can be used for cattle grazing, lumber, hunting, and recreation. Continued human population growth has led to unsustainable rates of consumption of our natural resources, resulting in a loss of Earth's biodiversity. The main factors driving biodiversity loss include habitat destruction, climate change, invasive species, overexploitation, and pollution. Declining biodiversity is closely intertwined with species extinction. While extinction is a normal process of nature, the rate at which it is happening today is not. Scientists estimate that current extinction rates are at about 1,000 times higher now than would be expected based on the fossil record, and that we may be experiencing a mass extinction event, which is when 75% or more species are lost at a time. The extinction of the passenger pigeon is a famous example of an extinction caused by human activity. It was once the most abundant or popular biggest population of a bird in North America, with a population that was approximately 3 to 5 billion when Europeans arrived. And even though it had big numbers, the pigeon became extinct in the wild by the 1900s because of overhunting. The last individual bird, named Martha, actually died in captivity in 1941 at the Cincinnati Zoo. Conservation practices and policies ranging from the removal of invasive species to setting aside protected land for wildlife and plants, to establishing U.S. Endangered Species Act, have been put in place to combat these extinction pressures. Currently, more than 26,500 species are estimated to be at risk of extinction, though the exact number is difficult to calculate. One of these species is a small porpoise called the vaquita. With fewer than 30 individuals remaining in the wild, the vaquita is the world's most endangered marine mammal. They only live in the northern part of the Gulf of California, and their biggest threat is illegal fishery for the totoaba fish. The vaquita gets caught and tangled in the nets used to catch the totoaba, which are themselves endangered. Despite conservation efforts, the vaquita will probably go extinct in the next few years with so few numbers and continued threats. Other animals, including the grizzly bear, the bald eagle, and the California condor, have recovered from near extinction thanks to conservation action under the ESA, which was the Endangered Species Act. Alright guys, so lastly, establishing protected areas not only helps to conserve the natural landscape and geography, but it also helps the wildlife that lives there. So like those western gray kangaroos that we were talking about in Australia. So guys, here is a local invasive species example. We've got a plant that you've probably seen called kudzu. And what people actually do around Richmond that's pretty cool is to conserve the land and get everything back to the way that it should be. We actually use goats and other animals like that to eat up the invasive plant species. So that's one example that you may have seen. I know sometimes they do that down by the James River in that park system. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit today.